Today on What's in the Works podcast, we had the honor to talk to Mr. Joe Holyfield of Holyfield Construction. He is a true legend in our area and had some great insights, so check it out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to What's in the Works podcast. We have Mr. Joe Holyfield here with us today. Mr. Joe, I appreciate you braving the weather, coming out here with us today. Look, we're excited to have you on. I know you kind of I don't know why you guys chose me, but I've lived here for about 3.5 years, and I've had the privilege of doing some work with you. And Holyfield kind of just sets the standard, I feel like, in town. You kind of set an example of what I want to be in business, and I think what we're trying to be in business, which is, when we leave or one day when we're done, we want people to speak about us the way they speak about you and your company. And everywhere I've gone and the interactions I have, I drop your name a lot. I just want to let you know. It wins me favor.
You may get put in jail one time.
Yeah, maybe so. But, it's just, I think we all want to be viewed as a good man at the end of the day. And I think we all want to be viewed as someone who built a company the right way. And so, we appreciate you coming on and letting us have you here and pick your brain a little bit. If you will, kind of talk to us about how Holyfield got started, like how you got started in the industry.
Well, it's kind of a little, I guess most people have a life, it moves that direction. I was going to college in building construction, got married. My wife was much smarter than I was, so she stayed in school and stayed in nursing, and I went to work. And I actually had a friend of mine that wanted me to build a camp for him up on Darbone, and I said, sure, I've never done anything like that. He said, well, come on, let's do it. So I built a camp, and then one thing led to another. That led to another camp on the lake, and another camp on the lake, and that's kind of how I got my started. Mm-hmm. So, and then from there it took off, and we did a lot of houses. That was how I really got started, with mostly houses,
custom home builds and stuff and camps.
So do you remember a moment in the early days where maybe it was a project that you were unsure, like, this might be too big? Or was there a moment of like, where you just remember, like, this is a make or break moment for me? And
something that took you guys off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've necessarily had one of those. I've never looked at them that way. I guess it was my attitude. But I got one of those right now. We're doing it.
So this is it.
This is it. We finally found it.
It just took a while.
Yeah.
We're doing we bought a building in Ruston, the old post office downtown. Beautiful building. I admired it, pictured it, photographed it many times, hoping one day to do something with it. And sure enough, about 1.5 years ago, I got a call from the mayor over there offering the building up. So we bought the building, and we're going to do a Delta Biscuit there. But it was built in 1906. Old building, extremely well built. If we get bombed, that's the place to go.
Yeah.
But it's probably the most difficult job I've ever done.
Corbin has talked to us a lot about that building since he did some work on
it. I got to do the roof on that project,
yeah.
And that is, to this day, the most favorite job I've ever done. That is just
it's just a beautiful job, beautiful building. When we get through, it's going to be really pretty neat.
And I got to say, look, I was on site one day. It was a Saturday. I had my son with me. We went by the site, and I had one of the superintendents say, hey, Mr. Joe's coming by, and he wants to check the progress. So I said, okay. So I go out there, and I mean, the building is 50 feet in the air, something like that. When you get to the top of that roof, it's slate and all this special TPO in the gutters. And so I'm standing up there, and I'm taking pictures, thinking I'm going to come down and show Mr. Joe what we've done. And all of a sudden, I turn around, and here comes a basket lift. Here comes Mr. Joe over the top of the roof. And I was like, he just hopped down in the gutter with me and walked the whole thing. We had the crews there, and it was a cool moment for me. But
you did a great job on that.
I appreciate it.
That was a tough job, tough to figure out, tough to plan and to do the right thing. So
it was very creative, a creative process to do that.
So when you were early on though, and you were getting started just building those houses, what kind of transitioned you from doing that to being Holyfield Construction, like becoming a company?
Well, probably in the mid-'70s, that's when I formed my company, actually formally formed my company. I graduated from high school at 71, went to college about 3 years. So about 74, I kind of got it on my own, and in 75, we actually made it formal.
Fair enough.
And it just took off from there. It didn't take off. It was a slow process.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right. Getting your name out there, doing the right thing. That's something we've built our company on, is that it seems pretty simple, is that you tell someone you're going to do something and then you just do it. And it sounds real simple, but it's a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people won't do it. They can do it. A lot of them won't do that.
Crazy enough, you do that, and then you get good Google reviews, and then over time,
Back
you have
in those
a bunch.
days, wasn't any Google.
No Google reviews in '74.
Yeah, we
That's
got
a fair
reviews.
point.
We got reviews from our clients, but early on, I got involved with the medical community on building houses. So I built a couple of the lake houses were owned for doctors, and then a couple of houses in Monroe. So I was fortunate enough to be in that position. So.
And in today's world, are you mostly commercial construction focused, or do you also have a residential side?
We do both. Matter of fact, we're doing about a $2.5–3 million home. We've about to start another one, about a $4 million home. And
So the standards have raised, but
yeah, well, back even then, those houses were pretty expensive. But but we try to do a house or two a year. And that's it's the most difficult to do because it takes a lot of attention, a lot of babysitting, a lot of
emotional support through the job.
A lot of patience on some of those. But we still do those, but it's not the bulk of our work.
Fair enough.
The commercial.
I've gotten to come behind on a few of the houses that y'all built, and man, just what y'all are able to pull off is really impressive. These houses that we've done, I can name some. I don't want to put the names out there, but they're just always phenomenal, beautiful. I'm talking about custom copper, top of the line, everything. I mean, from the trim to the paint, everything is just phenomenal. It's beautiful.
We've been fortunate enough to have the people that could afford to build those quality type homes that we actually do. But my thoughts is let's build a house that will look great now, great 50 years from now, great 200 years from now. And that it takes quality. It takes an eye for the details.
Sure.
And we try to do that. Most of our homes are like that. On occasions you'll have a house that we build that may not match the standard that I would like to have, but that's mostly what we do, and we enjoy doing that. We still enjoy. We probably got 2 more homes this coming year to do. Nice homes.
Yeah, and so as you've built your business and as you've grown, and I know now you're kind of breaking into some restaurant industry stuff. Delta Biscuit here in Monroe is a phenomenal place. We were just talking before we started filming about a Pero. Pero is our favorite spot in town. What has that been like, and are you involved in those businesses as well?
I am.
Yeah.
I don't manage them from day to day, but I've always had an interest in restaurants. And when I was probably 25 years old, I opened a restaurant with Bob Coons, Cypress Inn out on the bayou in Lakeshore. We opened that, and I ran that, or didn't run it. He actually run it. I've never run a restaurant, but been involved with it. And we did that for 4 or 5 years, and then later on, we designed and built Copeland's restaurant, and I had it for a couple 3 years, sold it, and got out of that. And then, of course, my next one was to do CC's Coffee, so we did that. And then I always wanted a brunch place. I thought we'd do well with a brunch place on our street. And same thing on the coffee place. I wanted to put a coffee house on our street on Tower Drive. So we did Delta Biscuit, and then we ended up doing a Pero.
Yeah,
and we did a Pero because Delta Biscuit kind of hogged the parking lot that couldn't get a place to park. So we opened a restaurant that done mostly night business.
Yeah.
So,
and both I feel like are probably doing phenomenal. I know
we've been very blessed with all our restaurants. All of our restaurants have been successful.
Yeah, I think it's not a coincidence when someone comes in with a true centered, like when your heart is truly centered and your compass is truly pointing in. I want to do good for people. I want to do the right thing. I want to do something high quality. I want to give something back. That success kind of follows those things.
And I believe that. I really strongly believe that, and I preach that to my family. I preach it to our employees, and they've all bought into it. They're the key to our success. It's not what I actually have done. It's what my family's done, and what my employees have done, and what the people in the community have. They've been there for us. People mentioned the Tower Drive development. Well, I didn't. I built it, and probably maybe had the vision, but it wasn't it was the people that came along and wanted to spend $2 million or $4 million on a building and things. So we've been very blessed from that perspective. And that image, we've been able to keep it moving because we've been supported by our community.
Yeah, that's awesome. We talked a little bit off camera about what it's like having, your kids work for you and your grandkids work for you, which is our dream. I have a son. I have a daughter who's 14. She's not interested in anything that I do, but maybe one day to have the opportunity for them to work alongside you. What has that been like for you? It's been
phenomenal, but little thoughts there. None of the kids want to be part of what you're doing because they see it. They see the day-to-day of it, and they understand that it's work and that it's. But they think, when they're 14 or they're 18, they have visions of grandeur much greater than being a contractor, climbing up, going to work in the mornings and things like that. But they usually come around. They realize that the potential in their success of life in general, not just in the construction business, but their life in general as far as financially successful, career successful, I think they'll fall in line generally if you give them the opportunities, and that's what's happened with both of mine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With this, with the the local growth that's kind of forecasted and happening, mostly I guess from the Meta stuff. I mean, what are you seeing like your business doing going forward? Are you getting geared up to do a heavy load, or y'all kind of staying steady and consistent with what you've always done? Or?
Well, we had a great year last year, and the year before we don't have bad years. That doesn't happen very often, but we've had really good business this year. We're very fortunate. I own a couple office buildings, and Tower Place, if you're familiar with Tower Place,
sure.
I bought that several years ago. It was a call center operation. We bought that and turned it into an office building, and probably in the January of this year, we got a couple of calls from the major contractors that were building out at the Meta site, Mortensen, DPR, Turner Construction, and we got fortunate enough and blessed enough that they ended up renting office space from us.
Really?
So we ended up developing a relationship because I would see the people that was there in charge running each of those operations. I had a personal relationship with them, and we made an effort to make it easy for them to move in and be functional and be successful at that location. And because of that, they give us an opportunities that most people would not have had.
Sure.
And we're doing, and it's not just those three contractors, plus Meta. Meta is in the building. They've got office space in the building too, and I think they may be staying there until they finish a project out there. But anyway, I've been fortunate enough to do that. With that said, we end up actually have 2 or 3 other subcontractors in the building. So we've developed relationships with them on that. So
Right.
we're renovating a big 140,000 square foot warehouse space in West Monroe that IES had done. And we got one job led to another. We're doing for Faith Technology, they're doing hotels, 3 hotel renovations, 2 in Delhi and 1 in Rayville.
Wow.
And doing another renovation of a feed, what used to be a feed store just north or just south of Delhi. And we got about 30 men out at the site now.
Oh, wow.
On and off. And then something we actually have done, and Chris has led the charge, my son has led the charge on that. We were given the opportunity to do waste disposal for DPR out there and for Turner.
Yeah, and that's Holy Dippers?
Holy Dippers. We started that, and that was something we didn't have any clue, but they said, look, this is what you need to do. And we talked about it, and we've seen the potential for success, and this really has been we've been very blessed with that. So we've been very fortunate with that particular project. It's been good for our community.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, just kind of seeing the area develop, adding amenities, things like that. I'm pretty excited.
Well, it helps a lot of different ways. When it first came, they talked about it being transformational, and I didn't really totally understand that, but it is to some extent. It's touched the lives of a lot of people. Most people don't have a clue, don't even know it, but it's increased our property tax, our sales tax. Restaurants are better. Y'all, excuse me. I've got some kind of cold.
Okay.
Battling.
But even the project,
hotels.
like the hotels that you're remodeling, the old feed store in Delhi, even after DPR leaves, those improvements will remain in our area to be used by the local community.
Without a doubt, they'll leave that, and there'll be plenty. There's a lot of other little things that fall out, little things that come behind that. We got a call from the fellow that run DPR and said, "Look, I need 100 electric Ford trucks." I said, "Man, I don't have a clue where you buy 100." Now, so you're not going to find too many electric Ford trucks in Monroe, but we did help them find some trucks. I mean, they bought 100 trucks and brought them into our community. That's a lot of sales tax, a lot of. And they're reworking the roads. I think Richland Parish will have new schools and new roadways, and they're getting a new water system and a new sewer system. I mean, there's a lot of things you probably don't see and you don't understand, you don't know, and what the ramifications are from that. I'm chairman of the Ouachita Industrial Development Board, and we work with companies that come into town that do what's called a pilot program. and we've worked with 2 companies, three right now, and these are going to be about $1.5 billion worth of work that we won't be performing the work. It's solar farms, but it's a meta project, and it just goes to show you there's property taxes that will come from that, sales tax will come from that will bless our community with. So there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot coming right behind us. This is just the beginning of it.
Yeah. We had Mayor Ellis on a couple weeks ago, and he talked a lot about that, even about the Amtrak station that they're trying to build out, and like you said, this is only the beginning. There's going to be so many more different people that follow, and it's just going to. I feel like it's going to drive so much innovation in our town, and I feel like it's such a great time to be in trades in general here. I mean, that is such a booming industry currently for us, is building and creating, and I think there's going to be a huge makeover coming soon. Yeah. Yeah,
no doubt about it. It's been transformational for the construction industry. They do try, and they have tried, and they've done a good job, in my opinion, to try to engage local, not just the contractors, but restaurants and suppliers and things like that. You know, they actually went into a tire shop in Rayville and said, "Look, we're going to give you a couple $1 million. Go buy us a big inventory of tires. We're going to need you to take care of the trucks and vehicles and things." I mean, there's one thing after the other.
Yeah.
It's just things like that have popped up and have been.
It changes people's lives. I mean, that local distributor, that made him have a really great year and completely changed his standard of living and the impact it has on him and his family and families around it. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really has been. It's been pretty amazing. And I've been very blessed and fortunate enough to be involved in it and to watch it evolve and see what the potential is. And there's more coming. I mean, there's more coming behind that. And it's not necessarily all data centers. So we've been fortunate enough to, and probably Friday couldn't share some of the information. I can't either, but there's some other industries that will be coming here. And I think they're going to be transforming downtown too. He's working with a couple projects downtown. So
we had Mike Eccles on as well. I know he's doing a lot of stuff downtown. Man, it's exciting what's going to happen down there. It's beautiful. The Hotel Monroe is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Michael's done a great job. He's been a good steward of the downtown area.
You mentioned that you were chairman on a group, and I know you're also in the Chamber of Commerce, Grow NELA. So, like, you have a lot of influence in the local groups that kind of drive growth. So, how has that been? Like, are you seeing like it expanding all directions, or is everything just going east? Or
no, I think it's all the way across the board. I mean, I sit on the Industrial Development Board, and those 3 of those projects, which are approaching to $1.5 billion, are all in Washita Parish.
Oh, fair enough.
And they looking at you have farmland that's been converted to industrial land for solar farms, and even out at the meta site, and that goes $25 an acre up to $5,000 an acre for property taxes. I mean that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
you'll see much better schools. You're going to see better roads. You're going to see all that's happening, and it's not just happening in Washita Parish too. And I am chairman of the Washita I was chairman of the Washita Economic Development Corporation, OEDC they called it. That was probably back in 2010, and we did a merger at that time with NELA, which is a group, not NELA, but NLEP out of Shreveport, and we merged with them. I was chairman of that group for a short time, and then at that point we didn't really feel like we were getting the attention we needed on this side of the state, because it was basically economic development group that covered all of North Louisiana. Anyway, so we formed a new one. Well, I was part of that, helped find Rob Cleveland, which has been a blessing for our community, and set up and organized Grow NELA. So I've been involved in that, and then of course I'm now chairman of the economic development, the Washita Industrial Development Board. So I've been fortunate enough to be part of that. But I've watched it grow, and I've watched it, and I know what the potentials are. The potentials are really just now starting to come about. Even though the Meta site, what the Meta project has done for Northeast Louisiana is put us on the map. People now see us, recognize us, and understand that we're here.
Yeah, we're the pretty girl at the prom now.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how pretty we are, but we are doing a really good job of that. And I think it's kind of put us on the map, and I think there's a lot of potential. And it's not just the call centers and data centers.
We've heard of microchip processing plants, and there's so many ancillary businesses that have to support these type of centers, and
Mr. Joe, you don't seem like someone that needs to add things to your calendar unnecessarily. So why do you feel like being a part of these groups, Grow NELA, Chamber of Commerce, why is that important to you outside of running your own business on top of all the things that you already have as a responsibility?
Well, sometimes I wonder, and I'm sure my family wonders why I do that sometimes, but I don't know. I've always been in economic development. That's been kind of my thing, I guess you could say. And, I don't know. I just see the opportunities. I know it's there, and I know I can make a difference in it by leading some of those charges and making sure they're happening. I'm also chairman of the Biomedical Research and Innovation Park, which we're going to be building on Tower Drive on the corner there. So I've been fortunate enough to be part of that, and I see the opportunities. And if we can push it, none of these things are easy. It takes persistence, and you just got to stay on top of it. And but I see the results of it. I've watched and see what happens up and down Tower when you push and you do the right things, and it's good for our community. And I enjoy doing that. I really do. But anyway, I'm not sure that answered your question.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it takes people, I think, like you and people like Friday and Mr. Eccles, like that have a vision, to actually go forth and put your hands on it and fix it, and actually create that for us. Tower Drive is my favorite street in Monroe. It has everything I need right there. It's developed so nicely, but it takes someone to come out and actually put your hands on it and really not only have the vision but implement it and be willing to, like you said, take time away, roll up your sleeves, and actually push for that stuff to get done.
And the experience to know how to push those projects
forward. Yeah.
Well, I've learned as I go. It's without a doubt. But you were talking about our mayor Friday. He's been phenomenal. I mean, I worked hard with him to get him elected, and surprisingly, he's done a super job.
Yeah.
He really has. He's phenomenal to do what he's done and be able to get reelected by the numbers that he's gotten. Mm-hmm. By the votes that he's got, he's just a phenomenal mayor.
He's a go-getter. He's not a laid back type of guy. I feel like he is truly in it. He's an innovator, and I think it's exciting to see somebody with that much energy, willing to pour that much into the city work.
Well, something he's done too is to work with the people that he has to work with to move our city forward, and that's not been easy for him. But he's done a super job. Most of us wouldn't have tolerated some of the. Sure. You may not want to record that, but he's done a super job. I think that's the most admirable trait he's given us, is to be able to work that particular part of his administration.
Yeah, I think he's been the perfect fit for this time for our region.
He is. He really is. I mean, I've been around since Jack Howard. Jack Howard did a lot of things back when he was mayor, but I think Friday's been our best mayor in a couple of generations.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think do you believe that it's important for young entrepreneur and business people like us to, and I say young loosely, I mean, we have Casey. I'm
the elder of the group,
youngish.
He's actually younger than he looks, but do you see it important for, people like us to be involved in these type of like Chamber of Commerce and Grow NELA type organizations? Do you see the benefit in that?
They also need good leadership, and people need to be good leaders in those and help guide some of those in the right directions. Mm-hmm. And the younger generations are stepping up. Yeah. I'm looking at them now, Chris and Lisa, my daughter, and they're becoming the leaders in our community, and I think it's important, critically important. And I think they're realizing that, and they understand what the need is, and they understand what the potential and opportunities are. So.
Sure. Yeah.
If you were starting a construction business today, what lessons from your career would you apply immediately?
Well, we've always done something to do it right the first time, and it's just important to be a quality builder. Now, that's not necessarily all buildings are built that way, but that's the direction we took it. So, if you deliver that, it pays off. It's like putting money in the bank, but you got to put a little in at a time, and you draw interest on it over a period of time, and sooner or later, you turn around, you look at it and say, look, I've been successful at doing this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of what it is. And like the statement I said earlier, I think it's important. It's pretty easy. It's simple, in my opinion. And I tell my people that it's pretty easy. You tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it. And a lot of people can't do that. I mean, they just can't seem to pull that off. I'm not sure why that's the case, but we've done, that's something, one of the things that we've done, I believe, and quality's always been a priority for me. And
Yeah, no, you're right. What we deal with in competition a lot of times, or the number one complaint from clients that we work with, whether it's a homeowner or a commercial, job, is people don't answer their phone. They just, like, the reason I've been able to build what I consider, I feel successful in my career, is I answer my phone. I prioritize the relationship with the person, and I make sure, like you said, I try to do my best at, like, doing what I say I'm going to do. But if I'm not able to pull it off when I told you I'll pull it off, I'm at least going to be there to answer the phone to tell you why.
You're going to tell them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty. That seems real simple, and it really is. But it's not as easy to do as you would think it is.
Sure.
And most people aren't patient enough to see the good of that.
Yeah, there's the invisible factor in the background of reputation happening without you being present. So every move you make benefits you or harms you one way or the other.
Yeah, it's a good point you made about that. It really is.
We've we've had jobs where mistakes were made, but we've redone entire roofs at our expense many times. And just for the long game of, we still want to be around 5 years from now. So, someone hearing a horror story about something that went on a job, you just got to make it right.
You do, and I think that's something we've done. You're talking about a roof. We put a roof on a doctor's office. I hired a roofer to do it. He came over and did a shitty job, pardon the expression. And we couldn't get him to come back. We couldn't get it fixed. So I ended up out of my pocket, $20-something thousand bucks, tearing it off and just redoing it. So that is, you're right about that. But that's kind of your marketing. We don't put billboards up. We don't do a lot of marketing with our company. We market it through doing the right thing and being
and word of mouth just happens organically.
It will.
And referral bases are grown, and
It's about how you make people feel. They're not just hiring you to do a job. They are looking to you to put trust in you. And I feel that. It's like, when I take on the responsibility of doing something for someone, I feel the trust that they've given me. And I think it's important to be a trustworthy. And like you said, sometimes the phone is ringing and I don't have a good answer for you. You know what I mean? It is hard to answer the phone and say it. But I was told early on, they say, someone told me that the key to success is becoming comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. And so the less you try to avoid the uncomfortable conversation, the easier it actually becomes in the long run. But it is hard.
Well, you're going to make mistakes in life. You always make mistakes. You learn from those. That's just part of life, and you learn from those, and you share those with whoever. If you have a client or a doctor or a patient that you're working with, and you have a problem with it, you share it with them and tell them it is, and then go correct it.
Yeah.
They see that. They understand that. And most people we deal with are successful people, so they really do understand it.
Sure.
So,
fair enough. So if you care to share, are you doing anything in your own private development that, you think will benefit the community in the, upcoming years? Anything planned like that?
well, we're very blessed and very fortunate. My wife doesn't understand me sometimes, and my kids don't either sometimes, but we continue, even in my age, we continue to do things and develop and do things. We're developing a 226 unit luxury apartment complex between Oliver Road and Bienville.
Oh, wow.
You may have seen the signs up on that.
That's what you're doing there?
Well, we're going to hopefully start that this coming summer,
That's awesome.
maybe late spring. I got that project we're doing, and
that's going to completely change that area. That's going to be awesome.
and then we're doing we bought the Lumen building out on Foresight, and we're renovating that. Looks like we're working with the Children's Museum to get them in there. So
That's cool.
and then we got another tenant that we may end up sharing it with them. I can't share that just yet.
Sure.
But we got that particular project, and then we've got the Biomedical Research and Innovation Park. It's about a $50 million project. We've accomplished about $25 million of that, and we still have about $25 million worth of funding. We've got $9 million of that funding. I'm hoping. I met with Commissioner Barbara a couple of weeks ago, and he's assured me that the governor's behind it, so I think we'll be able to pull that off sometime.
Wow.
Start construction by the end of the year, if not early of 27. we got that project, and then we have Egret Landing, which is a
it's beautiful.
upscale,
That's a beautiful development.
up development up there, and it's been a little slower than I would have liked, but we're going to try to jumpstart it and build some condos or townhouses in there, and got a couple of projects there. It's about a $5 million project there we'll be doing. So
Wow. Yeah, those are beautiful homes out there. We did a lot of work out there during the storm, but yeah, all those are. It's a beautiful piece of property out there. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Mr. Joe, again, I just want to thank you for coming on.
well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, and it's
Yeah.
not usually something I'm not sure why you talked me into this, but
Yeah.
it's good to share my thoughts with you, and appreciate you.
We really appreciate your time and sharing with us. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as young people in the industry, and we're trying to learn, like, I think it's important to look to people that you want to model after, and so, like, we truly, like, I appreciate you sharing, like, wisdom with us. I think we all look up to you a lot, and
Well, y'all very kind.
just good to
Appreciate
have
the
you.
kind words. I've got you all fooled. As well.
yeah, that's right. You're doing great. Yeah, but genuinely, like, we've had Friday, we've had Mr. State Rep Mike Eccles, and now you. I have taken it has kind of changed my perspective. Just meeting with the three of you consecutively, it's changed my perspective on what it actually means to, like, be a citizen in a community. When you see the people who are actually behind the scenes driving what that community looks like, because what we could have is if the three of you did not have the drive that you did, I think the community would suffer. And I come from a different city where it is a lot more. There's a lot less energy. There's a lot less willingness to create, and so we are blessed and fortunate to have people like y'all heading that up.
And that energy has come about in the last 2 or 3 years. It really has compared to what it was before that. But we had good leadership in the mayor's office. Eccles has done a great job downtown. Our mayor's been phenomenal. He really has.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good things happening in our community and we're really just getting started.